Hey everyone, welcome back to Week Ahead Astrology Breakdown. I'm Matthew Oliver with Stillwater Alchemy, and we are now fully in Gemini season. So again, happy birthday to all of our Gemini angels watching. And this is a great reminder, especially as you're learning more about astrology, to look at your natal chart and look to the house ruled by Gemini, because this is now where the sun is shining. And this is a sun ruled by Mercury. And so Mercury is still moving through those post-retrograde shadows. So it can be a great way for you to do things differently than maybe you normally have done, given that Mercury is still in a fixed sign of Taurus. So how are you doing things? What have you learned during the eclipses? How have you moved in the past? And how do you wish to move? Oh, my alarm just went off. So the energy of movement is prevalent. Sidebar, I had planned to take an hour nap today just to have a little quick boost. And then I ended up sleeping for 4, which is a fun manifestation of the moon currently in Gemini as I'm recording this, making a square to Saturn, where it's just like, nope, the body needs some rest. But going back to Gemini season in the sense of mutable air, being able to do many things at once, or being adaptable and being able to switch on a dime. So giving yourself the permission to change your mind, change your routines, change how you do things, switching it up. Remember that we just had Venus in Gemini a few weeks ago. So now with the sun going back into this energy with Mercury post-retrograde shadows, there may also be correspondence around love, or you pursuing things now, having gone through the lessons of eclipse season, being more confident in that area, specifically ruled by Gemini in your chart, or just in general. So let us dive in to the week ahead. Boom. Monday, May 22nd at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So this is a beautiful day. The moon is getting a lot of love from many different planets. And this can also be a time to have you not yet planted new seeds or use the energy of the Taurus New Moon, or maybe you needed the weekend to further integrate and rest. We can see here now the moon is in her home sign of Cancer, conjunct Venus, while also making sextiles to Jupiter, the North Node, Mercury, and making a trine to Saturn. There's a lot of love here with the moon. And then also Venus is making that applied sextile to Uranus, and that gets more and more potent as the week is on as well. So we were talking about this kind of love shifting or pursuing different things than maybe we're used to. And that also ties in with this mutability of the sun in Gemini. But going back to the moon here, having this conjunction with Venus and then having that trine to Saturn in Pisces is us being committed, us having strong boundaries, maybe us being more comfortable saying no, or releasing unaligned energies to know what we wish to pursue, what we wish to grow. During the Taurus New Moon workshop, which is available for free, you can do so at any time. I'll put the link in the description. But there was a notion of what seeds are you planting? What do you wish to grow? And that further ties into Jupiter in Taurus as well, which I'll bring up later in this video as well. But I just want you to be mindful of what you wish to create, what you want to grow. And this is also a good time too for talking about further integrating the astrology into our day-to-day life on a personal level, looking to that Cancer ruled part of your chart, because that moon Venus energy, especially with the moon still in her new moon phase, there's likely to be an energy that you wish to start, to initiate, that you want to grow. Whether you do it physically or it's the idea, there is likely to be something off the heels of that Taurus new moon that you can initiate that will bring really good results. Now, when we move on to Tuesday, we still get this beautiful conjunction to Venus, and now the moon is making a trine to Neptune. So there's likely to be really nice dreams coming forward with regards to while we sleep, but also if we're talking about now we're in that crescent moon phase, this action that is building potentially physical dreams manifesting in our day-to-day, or opportunities arising, which can be really nice. And also to this Sun-Mars conjunction, this Sun-Mars sextile that even started yesterday on Monday, still being active. us expressing our desires. And I think for everyone, now that we're in Gemini season, it'll be easier to speak, period. And I'm a really big proponent of using our voice in always, but especially with regards to writing new stories, creating new beliefs, planting seeds, however you want to phrase this, so that there's more excitement, more action, especially with regards to self-worth and how we wish to be seen. So if you can use this sextile between Mars and the Sun to pursue what lights you up, where you wish to shine, and then enact the emotional connections, that's going to be key here, especially at the start of the week. All right. And then the moon is also making a sextile to Uranus. So there's lots of innovation and change at the start of the week. So just that would be like a good question to ask yourself as we begin this week, is like, where do I wish to see change in my life? How do I view change and spontaneity? Where do I want to initiate innovation? These are all things that can get those creative juices flowing, so that when we get to Wednesday, which is one of the most energetically charged days of the week. So we have the moon conjunct Mars in Leo. The moon is opposing directly Pluto at the start of Wednesday. And then we have Jupiter right smack dab in the middle. So we have this T-square with Mars, Moon, Pluto, and Jupiter. And here's the thing. This T-square has already been enacted since Saturday, since Mars moved into Leo. Now the moon joins the party. And this, that's actually the analogy I was going to use, is a party. So you know when you go to a party and it's bumping, there's a lot going on, you can either approach it one of two ways. Usually you're like, all right, I'm just going to throw myself in here, have a really good time, and see what evolves. There could also be the other side where maybe you don't want to be there. Maybe you feel like you're not worthy of being there. You're feeling insecure. Maybe you don't know that many people, and it's hard for you to fully immerse yourself in there. I remember one time I was in San Francisco, and there was a year I was going a lot because I just made a bunch of friends the first time I went. And then every time I was able to stay at the one friend's house and just meet everyone else. And it was like everyone was partying they were partying. And they're like, oh, would you like some of this? Would you like some of that? I'm like, no, more for you. And they were very surprised that I didn't want to engage in certain things. And I was like, no, it's fine. And for me, it was like, I'm comfortable staying within my own personal autonomy and not allowing the influence of certain people of status or the environment to sway what I know to be true for me. So there may be a situation with this T-square where it's like your beliefs and what you want to do is not going to be overpowered by influence, status, or control from others. And this, again, can be externally, internally. But with this Moon-Mars conjunction, let's settle on here for a moment. This could be engaging in something that you're extremely passionate about, that you want to grow, that you want to build, how you wish to be seen and valued. And then we have the Moon and Mars making that square to Jupiter and the North Node. And the Moon is going to be moving very quickly on Wednesday. So it's going to hit that square to Mercury as well. So it's this notion of we get to engage in a completely different life. And there may be, especially with Mercury still moving through the post-retrograde shadows for the rest of May, old beliefs, old ideas, or old communication or correspondence that happens that can lure us back in. Or maybe you're invited to an engagement, a party, a social outing where you're like, that's no longer aligned. I don't actually want to do that anymore. Or you go to that outing and you're like, oh, I've really grown. I can see the work that I've done elevate me in a way where certain things that used to trigger me or certain things that used to make me insecure no longer do so. And this will be in various areas. This could be in family, this could be at work, this could be in friendship, this could be in love. If you want to know how to use this T-square, where the areas are likely to show up, where there could be power, autonomy, passion, new beliefs, and how you communicate those energies, look to the houses in your chart that are ruled by Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus. Now, when we move on to Thursday, we're still working with this Moon square Mercury, square Uranus. So it's nice too, because Taurus and Leo are both fixed signs. So there's this energy of sometimes we need to be pushed out of our comfort zone in order to grow. This cannot be truer than for fixed signs who are often very steady, loyal, will stay the course. So with this moon Uranus, moon Mercury, just be careful of overexerting yourself, of burnout, especially near the end of the week, because we still have this moon Mars conjunction. And that can also be Wednesday as well, where you're trying to do so many things. And then you're like, and then I still need to go do this social thing, or I still need to go to my child's school, or I still need to go work on my side hustle, where it might just be so much energy. And the moon Uranus can often be like the straw that breaks the camel's back, where it's just so much, where one random thing out of left field can cause you to spiral, especially since we're separating from Pluto, but there's still an intensity that could be weighing on our emotions. So this is a reminder to take things either slow or give yourself grace, or don't put too many expectations on yourself come Thursday. We also see on Thursday this Venus Uranus sextile go exact at 19 degrees. So with that being said, be open to either different, unexpected, or surprising love, comfort, or ease to come in. And this could also be, I hear this a lot with clients where they have this outdated belief around support, nurturing, love. And we've been talking a lot about this week with regards to change, how we use our voice, how we show up in the world. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, especially I'm hearing like if you're a caregiver or a parent or a boss, someone that usually takes care of everyone else, Thursday could be a good time, as we're just coming off of that intense T-square with Venus sextiling Uranus, to ask for support, to ask for help, to shift how you normally deal with stress. That way, in the future, when you're going through something very emotionally turbulent or intense, and intense doesn't need to be bad. Intense could be everything you've wanted and more. It's just you're dealing with a lot of spinning plates all at once. That anytime in the future, you know that when you ask out for support, and this could even just be spiritual, divine support, this could be physical support, this could be whatever it is for you, that your call is answered, that you're given that support in multiple ways. Even for me, as a personal example, there are times when I'm carrying all my groceries back to my apartment and I'm like, it'll be really nice if someone could just open the door for me. And that way I don't have to put the bags down, get my keys, tap the fob, go in. And it'll be like perfect. It'll be like at random times in the day where it's not heavy traffic, to add that into the story. It'll be like someone just perfectly coming in. Then they'll hold the door open for me. I'm like, thank you so much. This type of support is exactly what I needed in this moment. So allow for, like I said, unexpected types of support, answering your call. And again, coming back to voicing these things out loud. It could be a whisper, it could be under your breath, it could be in your mind, but using your words to ask for specifically what you want, or keep it open-ended and say unexpected love, unexpected surprise, unexpected support, and see how the universe shows up for you. Beautiful. Now, is there anything else I want to talk about on Thursday? Right. So moving on to this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can even start seeing it on Thursday. The sun is making an applied square to Saturn. So this can manifest in a couple different ways. We'll talk about it moving on to Friday. As we can see, it's getting within 1 degree. So Sun, Saturn, Sun being vitality, how we shine, soul's purpose. Saturn, discipline, time, boundaries, authority. So if you're entering into a new life, a new chapter, which I believe most people will be if you haven't already, you are going to be conscientious of time, what you give your energy to, what holds authority and dominion over your autonomy. So, one, we can see how, especially if you hit that T-square on Wednesday and you weren't able to get support, you are not going to be able to run away from your emotions. This is one very easy way with a sun in an air sign and Saturn in a water sign, making time and space for your emotions, whether that is getting support from a coach, mentor, healer, health professional, whether that is journaling, whether it's just taking time to say, I am feeling blank, and allowing those emotions to come up. Secondly, this could be also be you knowing it's like, all right, maybe I haven't been making my emotional and spiritual well-being a priority. I'm going to get my butt, go to my laptop, book in some appointments so I can get the support I need. Third of all, it could also just be you seeing potentially whether it is a caregiver, authority figure, a boss, a superior, being like, okay, I need to have a conversation here because I'm feeling like I'm not getting the support I need. I was watching Selling Sunset over this weekend. sidebar, if you are a Martian diva like myself, or just like to get through things faster, I was talking to another client who has a lot of Mars energy in their chart as well. And the playback speed on Netflix, on audiobooks, on podcasts, you can up it. So it's like 1.5, 1.8, 2.0, depending. Like Netflix only goes up to 1.5, which is kind of annoying. Netflix, if you're watching, change that to 2.0 being the highest. But if you watch Selling Sunset at 1.5, you can get through an episode in like 2 seconds. But the reason why I say this is because Mary, one of the characters, is given control of the entire office, and the other guy, Jason, who's an Aries, he's like, Mary, deal with all of this. I'm going to go on vacation with my girlfriend. She's like, I have my own life. And this is kind of like the energy where it's like, we need support. In that example, Mary, a listing agent, was like, I need support. I can't do this by myself. I'm feeling overwhelmed. To go to the authority figure and being like, listen to me. This is how I feel. Please support me. I feel like that's a very possible outcome. And then another time, how this can manifest with Sun Saturn square is you seeing how you can expand and break through old boundaries, or maybe, especially with Sun in Gemini, you're able to do a lot more without getting overwhelmed. And so you're like, oh, this used to really stress me out. Maybe a lack of time or a lack of boundaries. But now, having done the work, reprioritizing certain energies, I can move through a lot more. And the last way could just be like, especially because we're going to see this on Saturday, or it's just like there's a lot going on and you have to decide what's worth your time and what isn't, which is a good segue into Saturday. So Saturday, we now have a T-square with all the mutable energies. Moon in Virgo, Saturn in Pisces, Sun in Gemini. And they're all exact. So depending on your time zone, but Saturday morning might feel like a lot. And here's the thing, depending on how you use the energies of the week, especially Wednesday, Thursday, this might not be as critical or intense as it needs to be. But let's break this down a little bit first. So we already talked about the Sun Saturn square, and now we have the moon there. The one thing that makes this T-square a little bit different is that the moon in Virgo is now getting trines to Jupiter, North Node, and Mercury. So there is a stabilizing, grounding energy that is going to give us clear focus, or potentially a resolution to being like, there's all these things I need to do / want to do. How can I deal with them all and get a resolution that's going to make everyone happy? The key here is what I'll say is on the weekend to not seek out a perfect resolve. What is perfect? That can sometimes be where Virgo energy can get tripped up and want to get everything just right or make sure the system works entirely. Maybe you're just having a solution that is good or great, or that it can be built upon, but you're not going to allow yourself to stress and worry. Or potentially for a stressful situation, or one that's unclear, one that's frustrating, there is a new idea or a new thought process that can help significantly. And this can also be one of those things where it's good problems to have, where there's so many things, so much abundance that's coming in. It's like, great, all these things I've wanted are here now. How can I organize myself to fully take advantage of all of them? And this goes back into what we were saying before, is we need to be able to speak and communicate, so that as we're moving through Gemini season, as there are points that are making us maybe overwhelmed, or as that we're integrating into this new level, this new frequency, that we can speak up and clearly communicate, which is great. I mean, I always say this, the astrology is very poetic. It's supporting us, especially now with the sun in Gemini. And this is a thing too, the sun is all by itself in Gemini for now. So it really does emphasize that energy without being obstructed by anything else, which makes the aspects to the sun in Gemini that much more loud or noticeable. And then on Sunday, the moon is opposing Neptune. Like I just said, this past weekend, Sunday, we had the moon in Gemini square Neptune. As a personal manifestation for myself, I ended up taking a 4-hour nap. So this might also be a time where you're like, I have done a lot this week. I'm just going to rest. I'm just going to allow myself to dream. I'm going to allow myself to be creative, or to indulge in watching Selling Sunset on Netflix, whatever you feel called to do. The good thing is here is that the moon is making that trine to Uranus. So there's likely to be a shift in how you feel. The one thing that's just coming up is maybe don't overindulge in like snacks and treats. I feel like with the moon in Virgo, it's always working on our health, the systems that keep us strong, especially with digestion. And so moon Neptune, it can be like, if we haven't allowed ourselves to relax, and then it's like we're going to eat and drink the world. And then that can be the shift where it's like, oh, this drastic shift to our energy. That's just more of a intuitive download than the astrology one. But as you're allowing yourself to rest and chill, maybe instead of going the one way, you're actually just giving yourself all the goodies. So lots of water, elixirs, produce, things that are going to keep you strong. You're like, oh yes, my body just needed this time to recharge in all ways. All right. Boom. So with the astrology question of the week, I've been getting a lot of DMs and questions this week, because if you are used to this channel and my energy, I get very excited with the astrology, and I never want to over deliver, but sometimes like the transits are really good. My opinion, this Jupiter in Taurus energy is one of them. And I've been seeing a lot of like clients, DMs, comments of beautiful things. And then some people are saying it's like, nothing's happening for me. Is there going to be something positive for everyone? The answer is yes. But I also just want to give a moment to read through some of these responses when I ask like what blessings are showing up for you with Jupiter and Taurus, to kind of like get our minds going, being like, oh yeah, there's so many blessings. So traveling to Morocco with amazing people, boom, new job, and Stevie Nicks tickets, boom. I was able to travel to Mexico and spend a week in an all-inclusive luxury resort, boom, luxury, very Taurus. I made a breakthrough on the play I'm writing after a wild night singing karaoke, boom, Taurus, using our voice and then creativity. Won my court case, got the letter today after turmoil ever since September 1st, 2021, boom, congratulations. I just bought a new bed and the furniture company took $400 off the final bill. Boom, bed, comfort, luxury, Taurus vibes. Yeah, there's lots, but I just want to like share a little bit. I've also had clients have like unexpected money, lots of contracts coming in, birthing of new energy. So here's the thing. With regards to any transit, it is going to manifest in some way. Jupiter, being known as the greater benefic, especially since Jupiter just shifted into Taurus last Tuesday, we are going to be expecting new things. And the reason why I'm doubling down on this and really getting excited is because we just had that Taurus new moon on Friday. So the new moon was an aspect to Jupiter. So there's going to be something that's coming through. And here's the thing. I know not everyone falls into this category, but I think sometimes we take certain blessings for granted. And when you really take a step back, you're like, oh, it's not always going to be money and jobs and luxury for everyone. It could be health. It could be ease in life. It could be something moving a lot smoother so you can slow down and enjoy the life you currently have. It's like if you are breathing without pain right now, that's a blessing. If you can move your wrist like this without any pain, that is a blessing. If you have family that loves you, that is a blessing. There was one time I talked to a client and they were really kind of stubborn on this. And so I said, okay, that's like I was Elle Woods interviewing Chutney on the stand of Legally Blonde. I was like, what did you do today? And like, well, I did this and I did this and I did this. I'm like, okay, so you went for lunch with your father? And they said, yes. I'm like, did your father pay for lunch? They said, yes. I'm like, do you love your father? They said, yes, of course. So I'm like, you just got a free meal, which depending on the city and the restaurant could have ranged between like 20 and $200. That's already a blessing, free food. And you love your father and have a beautiful relationship with your father. That's already an immense blessing that not everyone has. And they said, oh, I guess. You guess. It's just one of those things where sometimes we're very single-minded in what a blessing or a miracle or an advantage can look like. And it also just speaks to humans' perception of reality. And if we're looking through a lens from love and gratitude and one of pessimism, and I'm not saying that we can't have our days as humans where we are frustrated or we want things to happen now, or we're putting in decades or more of work into a certain area of our life. I'm just saying that there are certain times where things manifest and we're like, oh yeah, that is such an immense blessing that maybe I took for granted. Now, to go more into this specifically, and I talked about this a little bit in the Taurus New Moon workshop and also in my Jupiter and Taurus webinar, which early bird pricing is still available until midnight on Monday. I go into this a lot more. However, I will say, one, look to the house in which Taurus rules, because that is specifically going to show you where these Jupiter blessings are most directly going to show up in your life. So for some, it could be Jupiter in your 12th, where there's going to be a lot more spiritual guidance or a lot more breakthroughs in your spiritual practices, or taking time alone is going to be more enjoyable and lead to fruitful results. That's going to be different than a new job concert tickets, or luxury resort. Obviously, I know you know that. Second of all, if you are wanting new energy to come in that isn't currently there, get creative in how you are planting new seeds. Like we just talked about this week, of speaking certain things, of feeling this energy. I'll give a personal example. Taurus rules my 5th house. And I'm like, oh, love and romance likely to come in. So whenever I'm at the gym and I'm like, oh, that guy's hot, that guy's even hotter. What is it going to feel like when this new lover emerges? I'm like, oh, it's going to feel like this and that. I also am like, I get curious. I'm like, what job will they have? Or like, how will they sound? What color are their eyes going to be? What's their zodiac sign? It would be nice if they're a Cancer or an Aries. They're probably going to be a Capricorn. Things like that. So I get excited, where I start to see more and more beauty or masculine energy that I'm attracted to all around me every day. And again, it's always tied to the feeling with regards to this manifestation. But you can plan this. You can also be like, what new job am I going to attract? It's going to be so nice. It's only 5 minutes away. It's going to be nice to have all these employees that support me and love me, and that we can have a great community. It's like, maybe there'll be a coffee maker in the office where I don't have to pay for coffee every day. You see where I'm getting at here? If you're wanting to call things in, start getting creative, start being imaginative, start speaking these words into existence. I know for me, I'm like, oh, I'm ready for more love and romance and pleasure. Let's see what you have in store. Universe, I'm ready to play ball. It can be whatever you want, but it's literally just taking this time to voice it out, to feel the feelings. So if you haven't seen anything yet with regards to Jupiterian blessings, I want you, one, to take a step back and list all the things that are amazing in your life, and sit there, I would say, for at least 15 minutes and write down everything with regards to health, comfort, security, to see what else is coming through. You're like, oh yeah, I actually forgot about this, 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 and this. And then second of all, if you've done that and there is still something that you really want that you're calling in, and especially bonus points if it's linked to the Taurus ruled house in your natal chart, then you can be like, great, these are the themes that are likely to be activated for the next 12 months. I'm going to call these in. I'm going to get creative. I'm going to plant some seeds. I'm going to be intentional. The more that it means something to you and it gets you excited and passionate, that's the ticket. Okay. So let me know how that all resonates. And for those who purchased and invested in the Jupiter and Taurus webinar, feel free to ask any questions in the comments. My Aries moon will get back to you ASAP. And that's also a good reminder. If you have personal questions about this, I don't always answer them in the comments here on YouTube, but with regards to people I've invested, I will always do my best to answer anything in detail and give the knowledge and downloads that I have. Okay. Thank you all for watching. Have a beautiful week ahead. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.